What is a double standard that really bothers you? I grew up in a country where personal vehicles weren't common. Public transportation was everywhere. Buses, trams, shared taxis. You could get across a city for the equivalent of $1. So I never learned much about cars. I didn't need to. If the bus broke down, someone else fixed it. My dad never owned a car. My mom never drove. Car knowledge wasn't a skill. It was a luxury. When I moved here, I met Anna. She's white, born and raised in a small town in the Midwest. Her dad's a mechanic, not just a guy who changes oil. He's been running his own auto repair shop since before she was born. She grew up with her hands covered in grease, laying under old trucks and figuring out how engines worked. I've seen baby pictures of her holding wrenches bigger than her arms. It's in her blood. We've been together almost 5 years now, living together for 2. One of the biggest things I've learned from her, besides the difference between brake pads and rotors, is just how deep and infuriating gender bias runs in spaces like garages, parts stores, and anything vaguely mechanical. When we walk into an auto parts store together, it doesn't matter if she's the one holding the part we need, or if she's the one who picked the exact store based on what she knows they carry. The guy behind the counter will look right past her and talk to me, every single time. Looking for something specific, man? Even if she answers, even if she clearly knows what she's talking about, they'll keep addressing me. She'll say, yeah, we're looking for an NGK BKR6 EIX plug for a 2004 Civic Si. And they'll nod at me and say, that's a good choice. You sure that's the right engine code though? Once she told the guy we were swapping out a serpentine belt and needed the tool to release the tensioner. He looked at me and said, you doing that yourself or are you gonna get a shop to handle it? I said, my boy, she's doing it. I'm just holding the flashlight. Still didn't make a dent. He showed me where the tool was. Talked to me about how to use it. It's worse at repair shops. She went in once to get a quote on a clutch replacement. She already had the part. Her dad pulled it from a salvage yard for her. The guy behind the counter took one look at her and said, you sure it's the clutch? Sometimes the shifter linkage can be off if you're not pressing the pedal right. She stared at him and said, it's a 2007 WRX. Hydraulic clutch is slipping in 3rd and 4th. Linkage is fine. Throw out bearings whining too. I just need a quote. He told her to come back with her husband. When she applies for jobs at garages, it's even more ridiculous. She's got certifications, ASE, a few others. She's worked as a tech assistant in her dad's shop for years, but she goes in and gets asked how comfortable she is lifting tires, whether she knows how to read a torque. I've seen the mock tests they give her. One of them literally had a photo of a spark plug and asked what it was. Once she called to ask if a garage was hiring. They said yes, scheduled an interview. When she walked in and they saw she was a woman, one of the managers said, we thought you were someone else. They still interviewed her, but it was a joke. She told me later the guy spent 10 minutes explaining what a head gasket was, like she'd never heard the term before. There's this look people give her when she starts talking about timing belts or suspension geometry. This smug little smile, like they're waiting for her to mess something up so they can correct her. It's not curiosity, it's disbelief. Meanwhile, I could probably walk in and fumble my way through a sentence about oil changes, and they'd still take me more seriously than her. She never makes a scene about it, just shrugs it off most of the time. But I see it. I see how much harder she has to work to prove something she's known for years. I see her standing there, trying to get a job she's more qualified for than most of the guys working in the bays, and getting treated like a joke. She fixed my car's brakes last month, jacked it up in our driveway, replaced the pads and rotors, even flushed the brake fluid. I just handed her tools and watched. When she finished, she wiped her hands and said, you'd think by now they'd figure it out. They haven't, but she keeps showing them anyway.